All right, Leo trailer. What do I say after that for YouTube? I don't know, actually. What do I say? There's not much to say about Leo, right? Yeah, you know, there's not much to say about Leo. Leo trailer. I'm interested in play. I like Leo. I'm very curious to see what they've done to change Leo. I'm interested in trying Leo in Tekken 8. But I don't know what to expect. And I can't talk shit because I'm interested in the character. Seeker of Truth. Okay, I can talk shit about that. New challenger. Look at those boots. Leo.
Bist du bereit? Dann leg los.
I can't tell if... Why did Leo sound like a German Steve there? He still has the key charge thing. That's neat. Honestly, I was going to say something about the voice sounding. I couldn't tell if it was the same or different, but I don't think it's bad. That was a neat intro. Wow, that's the hell swoop counter it launches. That's so funny. Still got that stuff. Okay. That's a heat engager. That's crazy. That's a crazy heat engager. What the hell? That was so sick. Okay. Had that was the key charge follow-up that Leo has in Tekken 7. Yeah, the voice acting. Listen, Leo's voice acting has never been brilliant. And I think it still shows here. They didn't change much. The grappling hook was sick though. Leo 100% sounds like a male. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because that's a thing with the voice that was kind of weird to me. Was that before in other Tekken games, Leo's voice, you could really put it one way or another. But here, the voice is clearly a guy. Like, there are some times where it sounds like it's somewhere in between, but you can clearly tell. So I wonder why they did that. Maybe it's because they couldn't tell the difference. But anyway, let's go back here. So, what is this? This is a new move that goes in the crouch dash. And that's something that Leo's obviously had before. That armor move is new, which is, I think, a good change. Because Leo is a character that you don't see enough, so you don't really practice reacting to stuff. But the high armor move that they have in that stance is a high that is reactable. So at like, and it's, you know, it's the same with the hell sweep too. The hell sweep's reactable. It's just no one does it because no one sees this character both online and in tournament. But you can react to it. It is a reactable move. It's one of those things where the only reason why it was really used, it's kind of like how Zafina as a character was used in Tekken 6, is because just no one played the character, so no one really knew how to deal with it or practice dealing with it. So I think changing the armor move to a mid is a good change. I think it makes sense. Yeah, like, listen to this voice line here. This is what got me. Okay, so is it just me? Or does that have the exact same energy as Steve in this game? Elish, let's go. What does he say? I don't remember what Steve says. You know what I'm talking about, though. He has that same inflection in his voice.
These are the fists of a champion.
Doesn't it just have the... Like, it's not just me, right? It has the same energy. These are the fists of a champion. Elish. You see what I mean? Is it just me? Is it really just me? It's just me? Okay. All right, fine. Okay, so this is crazy, though. So... this is Leo's 10-frame punish, 1-4. It puts him in whatever the hell this stance is called. I don't remember what it's called, man. No one knows what it's called. But it puts him in this stance now, which is crazy. I wonder how plus it is on hit, though. Because I think that normally that move with Leo isn't that plus. It's like, I think it's +2 or something. It's not very plus on hit. I wonder if you're going to be able to hit Leo out of the kitten stance or whatever the hell it is. And then the 4 as well puts Leo in crouch dash, which is crazy. Yeah, and then the 2-2 put also. So Leo's this is something that I had thought was going to be the case in this game, because in season 4 specifically, they gave Leo a bunch of new key charge stuff. On one hand, it was interesting. On the other hand, it was basically useless, but it made me think, well, that probably means that Leo is going to be in this game, because it's probably something that they're experimenting with for Leo in Tekken 8. Lo and behold. Wow, so you couldn't cancel the shoulder, right? So this is down forward 4, 1+2. But the shoulder, the 1+2 gets canceled into back 4. Or is it forward 4? Might be forward 4, actually. And then that gets canceled into a crouch dash, which then has the 1-2, but now it has a new extension that's a high. There's a lot going on there. I mean, what are the implications of all of this, right? So that's just a new move, whatever. So the fact that Leo can cancel that, it looks pretty much the same, exactly the same as Yoshimitsu's 2-1, except it looks like it recovers faster, which is interesting, because Yoshimitsu's 2-1, when he cancels it on block, is -16, but this looks like it recovers faster. So I wonder if that's not going to be launch punishable like it is with, again, say Yoshimitsu, and if it's instead like -13 or something, -12, relatively safe. It's interesting. And then having this high as well, this high extension out of this stance, makes the... I wonder what this does on counter hit, but it makes the mid check out of this stance a lot... It makes it so that Leo doesn't have to do the crouch dash in the Wild Rising 4, which is interesting. It gives Leo more options, which is neat. Okay, so block punish here. Right, shoulder, 12 frames. Can go into key charge out of it. And then, in this situation, Leo can go for presumably the hell sweep or the mid. And that consumes the key charge state. This was a thing that was in Tekken 7 as well. I don't know if it was with this move, though. Because I think it was off of back 4 or something, or maybe forward 4. No, it was down forward 4, wasn't it? I don't remember, but I don't think it was this move. I think that's new. And then what's interesting too about this is that the second hit here is Leo's down 1, right? And Leo's down 1 is that move that's like 0 on block and forces crouch. So that's interesting, that's in a string. I don't know if that'll have any implications. And then that's a move that Leo's had before. And then that's a heat engage that Leo has, whatever. Yeah, this is crazy. The hell sweep launching here. Okay, let's count the frames. Let's count the frames. Let's count the frames of the hell sweep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so the hell sweep is still 20 frames like it was in the past. So the hell sweep is probably still reactable. That's gonna be a problem. We'll see how that goes in the future. It's just going to mean that if this character ends up being good, that people are going to have to learn to react to it, like Zafina's down 3, except no one's going to anyway, because no one can be bothered. But, you know, if PC ends up becoming the standard way to play tournaments in Tekken 8's lifetime, then that move's going to be reactable. Granted, if it still remains to be PS5, then it's up in the air. Remember that moves like this are reactable offline on PC. On PS4, it's a lot more dodgy whether it's reactable or not. It makes the tiers for the characters between PC and PS4/PS5 very different. Like Zafina, for example, on PC, substantially worse than on PS4 in a tournament setting, because down 3 is easily reactable on PC. Not so much on PS4. So really, the point here is whether or not that's going to be a problem is wholly dependent on if tournament standards change within this game's lifetime, which is really not a question that should be asking, because if one's just better than the other, then it should be one. I'm an advocate for tournaments being on PC, but you know, that's a whole nother thing. But I think it would have made more sense for the hell sweep to be 18 frames, or even 19. But 20, just again, it's just as reactable as it's been in Tekken 7, which it is, by the way. Don't give me that muscle memory. Oh, it's muscle memory bullshit. No, that's still reacting to it. Don't even start with me. My 20 and reactable is crazy, but then again, yeah, console. Yeah, it really is a console thing. That's why pro players like me have different tier lists based on if they're playing on PC or PS4, because it's wildly different. The tier lists in between both consoles are vastly different from one another. Same with Asuka's down 1+2, actually. Asuka's down 1+2 is reactable. You know how many Asuka players use that as their low mix-up? Asuka's down 1+2. Like, I've had times online where I've been able to react to it. It's very rare. On PS4, absolutely not. It also means that with crossplay being enabled, PC players just have a unbelievable advantage over console players. Like an Asuka mirror, for example, in this game, if it's like a PC player versus a console player, it's a 6-4 matchup for the PC player, even in the mirror match, just because of the input lag. I mean that with no exaggeration. Okay, yeah, so that's all pretty standard. Like, Leo's had that ender before. This is crazy though. Crouch dash 1. So that's a natural combo. That's always been a natural combo. But that being a heat engager is crazy. That's one of the strongest heat engagers in the game, because it makes that counter hit so much better, because it means now that when you're in heat with Leo, and if you get that on counter hit, that becomes a launcher. That's insane. And it's not like Jin's forward 2 like the demon par, right? Because one, you're already getting substantial damage off of it. It's like 50 damage by itself in the first place. But then two, you get to hit confirm it. Whereas with Jin, with forward 2, the only way you can really confirm it is if it's a whiff punch. You can't just throw out as a poke like you can with Leo's crouch dash 1. And because you've already done so much damage, you're by doing the heat dash, you're increasing the damage from like 50 to 67 or something. Whereas with Jin, when you do the heat dash, I mean, you could wall carry and then get it, but you could do the same with Leo. You see what I mean? Like, you already get the 50 damage. That's the difference. Yeah, that's crazy too that you get this. So this is the, I don't remember what the hell this move is, but then you get this guaranteed, and then that's a heat engager. And I think that's also a 14 frame punish, right? I'm pretty sure it is. So this was the move that we saw at the beginning of the trailer that put Leo in crouch dash, and it does chip damage, which is just insane. And then Leo has like a Soul Calibur Soul Charge-esque extension to this move now. So Leo can choose to go in the crouch dash or do the Soul Calibur extension that puts him into another stance. This is a very Soul Calibur kind of thing to have with Leo's heat. This is exactly how Soul Charge for most characters works in Soul Calibur, is that they have the extension for a move that'll put them in another stance or something. Very Soul Calibur-esque there. And then they go into the stance. They don't go into the stance. They do the forward or back four, whatever the hell it is. And then they have a new heat engager in the whatever the fuck the back 1-4 stance is that's low. Which is kind of what we saw with Reina as well, where she had that the low out of the stance where she goes like, you know, and then she, outside of that, she had the mid, which is terrifying, considering that Leo in that stance has a launcher, just a hop kick launcher, and that going into that stance is always plus as fuck on block, so there's not really much you can do about it. That is terrifying. That's terrifying. That is unbelievably terrifying. Yeah, and then we saw that earlier in the trailer. We saw that as a combo ender before. So this is a new move, right? So this first part, I think, is that like 3-hit string that has the blue spark at the end, but then it has another mid in it that launches them up. And then does that put Leo into a stance? We're going to slow this down here real quick. Oh, he goes into the, okay, he goes into the weird AOP stance, whatever the hell that's called. Okay. I didn't even catch that. Which I'm guessing that Leo can do just in neutral like normal, and then has mid that tail spins, and then of course gets the extension on the hell sweep. Now, is Leo in blue spot here? Leo is in blue spot here. Okay. Not blue spot, key charge. But it looks like Leo isn't actually in key charge. It's now just an install state like Brian and Asuka. The grappling hook is so good because it's a reference to Leo's Tekken Tag 2 ending. I love it. Sorry, I'll go back. I'll do it again. I just had to pause it for that because that was cool. Yeah. Neat. So the gimmick is interesting. So Leo is Leo, right? In many ways to interpret that. But Leo is Leo. Leo's like Leo in Tekken 7. But the thing is that I think is really interesting that sets Leo apart from the other characters that we've seen thus far is that Leo's trailer doesn't have an emphasis or over-reliance on heat to show off how Leo is unique, right? The heat engagers are particularly strong, but what we see is that there doesn't have to be focus or emphasis on heat to make Leo look unique. Think about how many things Leo did in heat compared to the other characters, and yet Leo still looked about as unique and interesting as the other characters. I think that there's a lot of merit to that. I also think that having the install state like they had before, but making it so that Leo doesn't have to key charge, is on one hand better, but on the other hand less interesting. I think it's just much more interesting to keep Leo in the actual key charge state. But it also kind of doesn't work with this game because characters have guns. So, and also, you know, counter hit grabs exist in this game. So it's unfortunate, but it's less interesting, but I think it's necessary. And then the little bit that we did see in Heat does look interesting, but it looks like it's a lot more about fishing for those counter hits off of like crouch dash 1 and stuff like that to be able to do the extensions like the Wild Rising 4-1+2. I think it's the up back 1-2 or whatever it is, to do the heat dashes to get like a full combo out of those counter hit moves, which is interesting, right? It's something that really the only character I can think of that's kind of like that is Leroy and maybe Asuka, depending on how you can interpret it. Like Leroy with his down back 1+2 parry, but really I think fishing for the counter hits and then hit confirming into the heat engager and then doing the heat dash off it, that kind of thing, instead of just doing it in a combo, is unique. It is unique, and I think that it fits pretty well because Leo is known for a lot of moves that give mini combos, so being able to extend those mini combos with the heat dash I think is cool. I think incorporating that into the heat engages too is cool, and I think that Leo is based on the trailers, really well designed character. I think that maybe not the most interesting character, but I think Leo is definitely one of the most well designed characters we've seen so far based on what I've seen. So I'm down. I'm interested to try Leo. Yeah, I think that's it. Cool character. I'm done reacting.